Guys, things are going crazy right now with surging sparks, not just over here in the UK, but over in the US as well, with booster boxes reaching crazy pre-order prices. More booster boxes are being sold daily than any other set in the Scarlet and Violet era so far, and also more than Sword and Shield era sets, including Evolving Skies. Things are popping off, right? They really are popping off with surging sparks. Today we'll be looking at what has been going on with surging sparks, not only in the UK here, but also over in the US on TCGplayer. We'll be taking a look at some of the cards in Japanese to give us an idea of what are the valuable cards that we could be looking at going into the English version that'll be releasing. Things are going crazy, right? If we thought Twilight Masquerade was absolutely crushing it, which it is, right? Surging sparks, hey look, as far as the sealed product goes, as far as hype goes, this is going to be a home run set. Why? Well, we'll be going through that. Let's jump in. Okay, right, so we take a look at TCGplayer at Surging Sparks at the moment. We don't have the single card prices just yet. We just have the sealed product prices of the set. So let's jump across and we'll take a look at the booster box, right, on TCGplayer first. So let's take a look at the booster box. So we can see here $137 market price, okay? So we've seen a lot of the Scarlet and Violet era sets, and they've been coming out, been around about $100, maybe $105, $110 at a push. They usually come out a little bit cheaper, and then they start to either gain a little bit of value or just kind of pretty stable, right? Most of the time, they've been pretty stable. Twilight Masquerade's been the only one that's kind of broke away from that trend and have climbed pretty quickly, right? The set's less than 6 months old. We're looking at like 160, 170 a box, which is just crazy, right? But this is crazy in of itself. So we had the market price here, which is 137. We have here, right, the average daily amount of sold, 23 boxes. So let's take a look. We can have a closer look at what has been really climbing. And I mean, it has been crazy, okay? So 1 month snapshot, there's been nearly 2,000 boxes sold. And like when you look at how many have been sold like each day, we're looking at over 100 boxes, like pretty much on a daily basis, 150 there. And it's just dipped a little bit, but yeah, it's just selling at an insane rate, and we've seen it, right? The box was 120, and I was like, oh yeah, that's quite high, probably because of the hype. It will drop a little bit, and then it will probably settle around that 110, 105. What we've kind of seen with all the other Scarlet and Violet era sets, especially upon release, and then depends on how popular it is, we'll decide then. But that's not the case. This has dropped a little bit from that 120, and I was like, oh, 115, okay, it's become more reasonable. And then it's just kind of gone crazy. And it's not just over in the US. Over here in the UK, it's been quite tricky to get those pre-orders in of Surging Sparks. It's not the fact that there isn't a lot around. There is. It's just the fact that people are going absolutely mental for this set. And with good reason, right? It's looking like it is going to be a strong performing set. All depends on the pull rates as well, especially when it comes to the more expensive cards. We'll be looking at the Japanese sets in a moment to give us an idea, but let's take a look at some of the other products that you can see from there. So let's take a look at the normal ETB, right? Regular ETB, not a Pokemon Center version, just your bulk standard ETB. Now this one has been climbing as well. Again, ETBs tend to go for around about $35 when they come out. They tend to drop, which makes sense, right? And of course we've seen it there, dropped to about $40 and is now gone up to $45, and it's got so many of these selling right now. This is just a regular ETB, so I do expect it to obviously be much more readily available. But if people are struggling to get hold of the booster boxes, they're going to go for the next best thing. ETBs are going to be pretty good to pick up as well if people just want to open packs for Surging Sparks. Now the Pokemon Center version is slightly different. Pokemon Center version I expect to be a lot more expensive, performing very well. And well, it has, right? We're looking at $160 for this one, and again, it has climbed by about $10 to $15 over the past couple of days, right, or couple of weeks. So it's pretty crazy. And if you can still get on the Pokemon Center website, do. I always think that the Pokemon Center version ETBs are just great investments across the board, and for a set like this one, it's going to be even more of a demand. So keep that in mind, of course. But then, of course, then you look at stuff like the booster bundles. Now, I highly suggest not normally to pick up booster bundles for normal sets, right? I tend to say, 151 is going to be really good, Paladin Fate's going to be good, Shroud of Fable, whatever it may be for the specialty sets, usually pretty good. Regular sets, you've got booster boxes, you've got ETBs, you've got so much different stuff to get booster packs, right? But with this one, not so much. So let's take a look at this It has actually gone up a little bit and it's started to come down ever so slightly. So we're looking around about $25. Most recent sale price was nearly $30. That is to contain 6 booster packs. Keep in mind, right? Normally when you take a booster box, right? Let's say it was $120 for a box. That's about $3 a pack. So a booster bundle, you're probably looking around about $18 to $20 roughly. The fact is that this is selling for $25 to $30 is pretty crazy, especially for a set, one, that isn't even out yet, and 2, is a main set. But this is where people just want those booster packs, and we're looking at $4 a booster pack already, which is pretty crazy just for a set that's not even out yet. Give you guys an example, right? We take a look at just the normal booster pack price, just a normal booster pack. We're not looking at blisters, we're not looking at sleeve blisters or booster packs or whatever. Just your bulk standard loose booster pack, $4.20. That's actually pretty high, especially for a regular set. And as you can see, it has been bouncing, right? It has been going up. It was around $3.60, $3.50, and now $4.20. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but that is actually quite a lot, right? If you break it down, $4.20, you're looking at over $145, nearly $150 a booster box. That's actually crazy. So right now on TCGplayer, Surging Sparks is going just absolutely full speed ahead. It is doing incredibly well. Like I said, the set doesn't even release until another, like 2 weeks, which is crazy to think, or less than 2 weeks now. It is going to be a really good one. But what about what's going on over here in the UK? Over here in the UK, what do we got? We've had a sealed case here for $690, basically $700. So we're looking at what, maybe just under 120 a box. That's actually not too bad. Now I've pre-ordered some. I've ordered 12 boxes, 2 cases worth, and I think they worked out around about 105 a box, and that's where I'm looking at the moment. But we had one here, 120 plus postage. We got booster bundles. Oh, there's a build and battle, sorry, there. 115 plus delivery, so basically nearly 120 a box. We've got a normal ETB for 45. We've got a booster box here for 170 that sold, which is just absolutely bonkers. Then you got 40, 45 for the ETBs. We're looking at 115 there, 110, so plus 5, 115. See, that to me seems pretty reasonable, yeah? Around 115 is fine. And, I've started to see more and more places charge 120, 125 already, and especially they know that the demand is there. I've even seen some websites which had them available maybe a week or so ago, when the pre-orders came out, like 100, 105. Then they became unavailable from their website, and they're now back up for 120, between 120 and 125. And I'm sitting thinking, oh, that's kind of strange. And I've been seeing it happen quite a lot, especially with smaller retail stores. But even some of the larger ones are now like restocking, as it were, the Surging Sparks booster boxes at an increase of maybe 20-30%. So keep that in mind, that a lot of places are doing that because they know people are picking them up when they can, which is crazy. There is going to be a lot of the set around, guys, so don't FOMO, yeah? And there'll be more printed down the line. So the set's not out yet. I know it's going to be a good one, but it's okay. Okay, so we'll look at the Japanese sets that contain the biggest cards in the set, so we can get an idea of what is going to be in the main set, but not only in the main set, but how much of the price is going for, so we can see what the biggest cards are. So right now, we are looking at Paradise Dragona, which is one of the Japanese sets. The Lycia's Appeal Special Illustration Rare was the biggest card in the set at $150. It is a big money card. I expect it to be high in Japanese, because it normally is. However, I do expect this still to be a very strong performing card in Surging Sparks. Mainly because, one, the trend of Scarlet and Violet has leaned towards trainer cards. We've seen it in Carmine, Perrin, obviously the Miriam, Iono, stuff like that. So we've seen it happen in a bunch of other cards. And on top of that, it's a fan favorite trainer from the Sun and Moon era. We saw in Celestial Storm it reach and fetch a very high price tag. So expect this one to be up there as well when it does come to English. Even though I'm not too happy because I do prefer a Pokemon, honest. Then we've got the Latias EX. This is again going to be another special illustration rare. Currently in the Japanese set is about $100, which is pretty crazy. Again, pull rates are going to make or break this set. If the pull rates are going to be like Stellar Crown and Twilight Masquerade, then we're going to see high prices. We just are, right? I think it's just the way it's going to go. This is going to be a large set as well, unlike Stellar. It's going to be roughly the same size as Twilight Masquerade. So we're going to see it be tougher anyway to find some of the big, trace cards or the certain cards that we really want to get. So keep that in mind. But this is going to be one of the biggest ones in the set as well. Then in Super Electric Breaker, which is the other Japanese set which does form Surging Sparks, there's going to be 2 sets that are going to form into the set. Again, all about Pikachu. This is going to be the biggest card in Surging Sparks in my opinion, which will be the Pikachu SIR. This is really nice actually. I think it's going to have that rainbow effect, so seeing it in the flesh, I think that's going to be pretty sweet. $200 right now on the Japanese set. We'll have to wait and see on the pull rates. We've already seen a big boom in a lot of the Scarlet and Violet era sets, and especially when it comes to certain cards and certain sets. And it's Pikachu, right? It is the poster Pokemon, as it were. So yeah, I think this one's going to perform very well. If the pull rates are tough, we could be seeing this be one of the most expensive cards in the Scarlet and Violet era. And especially if it's getting tough to just find booster boxes at a reasonable price. Again, with tough pull rates, we could be seeing this Pikachu going strength to strength. And yeah, definitely give the Greninja a run for its money. Then we have the Hydreigon, which is one of my favorite cards in the set. A nice and special illustration rare with that rainbow effect as well. Really cool. About $70. So in English, it's probably going to be sat around, I don't know, maybe $30 to $40, somewhere around that. But definitely one of the higher up ones. And then you have a bunch of other Pikachus in the set. You got the gold Pikachu from the set as well. That's fetching, $60 odd price point. You've got more Pikachus coming in as well. And the Milotic, which is one of my favorite cards coming into Surging Sparks, fetching $40. That might be a little bit cheaper. We'll have to wait and see. We really do have to wait and see. Pull rates will make and break this set. But things right now is crazy. There you have it, guys. Surging Sparks. Right now over in the US, pushing 140 a box, and it's not even out yet. The fact is there are more daily boxes sold in TCGplayer than any other set in the Scarlet and Violet era and over the past few years, which is crazy. I did see someone say that it's actually outselling more than Evolving Skies than when Evolving Skies first came out. So this is pretty crazy. There is a lot of hype around it. I mean, you look at other channels, a lot of people talking about how amazing this set's going to be. I think it looks pretty solid, right? I think when I first saw this set and they started showing some of the cards in the set, I was like, you know what? This actually looks like it's going to be a solid one. Whether or not it's going to be better than Twilight Masquerade in the sealed product long term, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, the Greninja is carrying that set. Will the Pikachu carry this one? Or just the rest of the cards and the rest of the hype around this set do well? Who knows if it will live up to it. Over here in the UK, you can still pick up boxes, as we saw on eBay, for around that 115 mark. Again, 115 is okay. I think if you start pushing towards that 125, 130, which I've seen as well, that's a bit pricey, especially for a set that's not even out yet. But yes, be careful. Some places are cancelling orders, putting it back up for more than what they were selling it for because they know the hype is there. So be careful out there, guys. Don't FOMO on this set. There's going to be plenty around, plenty of it to open. Of course, we're going to be opening it up on the release weekend as well on the live stream. So if you do want to jump in, definitely make sure to do so. If you made this far in the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button, make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments about this price of the booster boxes and the boosters and everything else about Surging Sparks. It's crazy. It really is crazy. We're ending this year off with an insane set and a set that's just booming, and it's not even out yet. How crazy is that? But that is it from me, guys, in today's video. If you want more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on the screen, and of course make sure to hit that subscribe button. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are the legends, and I'll see you in the next one.